Greetings and blessings to all my beautiful and defenseless friends out there. I do hope you enjoyed yesterday's lesson. We are here studying lessons of A Course in Miracles, and today we are on lesson number 154. I am among the ministers of God. And I have to tell you, I received some news that a friend of mine back from my Army days, he passed away recently. And the first thing I thought when I read the title of this lesson this morning was that he was telling me that about himself. He wasn't a particularly spiritual guy, but man, we had some really deep conversations and a really beautiful friendship. And I don't know, I felt like he was saying, hey, guess what, Sherry? Now I'm among the ministers of God. He's on the other side of the veil. A lot has been revealed. And I'm envious, so sending lots of love that way, lots of peace and healing. And let us begin our journey with this lesson today. Let us today be neither arrogant nor falsely humble. We have gone beyond such foolishness. We cannot judge ourselves, nor need we do so. These are but attempts to hold decision off and to delay committed to our function. And to delay commitment to our function. It is not our part to judge our worth, nor can we know what role is best for us. What we can do within a larger plan, we cannot see in its entirety. Our part is cast in heaven, not in hell. And what we think is weakness can be strength. What we believe to be our strength is often arrogance. Whatever your appointed role may be, it was selected by the voice for God, whose function is to speak for you as well. Seeing your strengths exactly as they are, and equally aware of where they can be best applied for what, to whom, and when, he chooses and accepts your part for you. He does not work without your own consent, but he is not deceived in what you are, and listens only to his voice in you. So that paragraph says a whole lot to us, and I think what it transmits to me is this idea that there's a lot of interference because our ego's thought system is running programs constantly. And knowing that God is speaking through us and knows who we truly are, there is a voice inside of us that when we also think, not just speak out loud with words, but when we do speak out loud, we are transmitting God's messages. And God isn't fooled by all the masks that we wear and the personality adjustments that we make, essentially to protect ourselves or defend ourselves in the world. So that paragraph really, it's saying there's a wisdom in the transmission, the communication that comes through us from God. And it requires our consent in terms of whether or not these communications will actually be, I suppose, moved beyond just in our own minds. So interesting, right? It is through his ability to hear one voice, which is his own, that you become aware at last there is one voice in you. And that one voice appoints your function and relays it to you, giving you the strength to understand it, do what it entails, and to succeed in everything you do that is related to it. God has joined his Son in this, and thus his Son becomes his messenger of unity with him. It is this joining through the voice for God of Father and of Son that sets apart salvation from the world. It is this voice which speaks of laws the world does not obey, which promises salvation from all sin, with guilt abolished in the mind that God created sinless. Now this mind becomes aware again of who created it and of his lasting union with itself. So it is itself the one reality in which its will and that of God are joined. A messenger is not the one who writes the message he delivers, nor does he question the right of him who does, nor ask why he has chosen those who will receive the message that he brings. It is enough that he accept it, give it to the ones for whom it is intended, and fulfill his role in its delivery. If he determines what the messages should be, or what their purpose is, or where they should be carried, he is failing to perform his proper part as bringer of the word. And I think that's just reiterating the couple paragraphs prior when it says that God isn't going to be fooled or led astray by all the interference that the ego is producing in our minds. So it's pretty amazing. And I think we make these agreements before we incarnate. So as there's these moments where we are transmitting pure peace, pure love, there's no interference, and it was planned before we even started this whole story of this incarnation. I think that's kind of beautiful and a big expression of love and trust coming from the creator of the universe, that we're being used in such a way to spread the message and emanate that energy, that frequency, vibration of love. There is one major difference in the role of heaven's messengers, which sets them off from those the world appoints. The messages that they deliver are intended first for them, and it is only as they can accept them for themselves that they become able to bring them further and to give them everywhere that they were meant to be. Like earthly messengers, they did not write the messages they bear, but they become the first receivers in the truest sense, receiving to prepare themselves to give. An earthly messenger fulfills his role by giving all his messages away. The messengers of God perform their part by their acceptance of his messages as for themselves, and show they understand the messages by giving them away. They choose no roles that are not given them by his authority, and so they gain by every message that they give away. Would you receive the messages of God? For thus do you become his messenger. You are appointed now, and yet you wait to give messages you have received. And so you do not know that they are yours and do not recognize them. No one can receive and understand he has received until he gives. For the giving is his own acceptance of what he received. Oh, now that's a really big one. I think a lot of us are very good about transmitting information that we think is valuable and loving and helpful, but if we haven't received it ourselves, our ability to really give it is limited because we're not embodied. We're not emanating it purely. We're just making good recommendations on how to help people, which is like a slightly lower vibration. Not a bad intention, but I think I understand what this is saying by we must truly receive it fully, completely, cell by cell, energy by energy, flow, wave, whatever color the rays are, green rays, yellow rays, all of it has to really be in us before we can give it in the way that God gives it to us. You who are now the messenger of God, receive his messages, for that is part of your appointed role. God has not failed to offer what you need, nor has it been unaccepted. Yet another part of your appointed task is yet to be accomplished. He who has received for you the messages of God would have them be received by you as well, for thus do you identify with him and claim your own. It is this joining that we undertake to recognize today. We will not seek to keep our minds apart from him who speaks for us, for it is but our voice we hear as we attend to him. He alone can speak to us and for us, joining in one voice the getting and the giving of God's word, the giving and receiving of his will. We practice giving him what he would have, that we may recognize his gifts to us. He needs our voice that he may speak through us. He needs our hands to hold his messages and carry them to those whom he appoints. He needs our feet to bring us where he wills, that those who wait in misery may be at last delivered. And he needs our will united with his own, that we may be true receivers of the gifts he gives. Let us but learn this lesson for today. We will not recognize what we receive until we give it. You have heard this said 100 ways, 100 times, and yet belief is lacking still. But this is sure. Until belief is given, it, you will receive 1,000 miracles and then receive 1,000 more, but will not know that God himself has left no gift beyond what you already have, nor has denied the tiniest of blessings to his Son. What can this mean to you until you have identified with him and with his own? Our lesson for today is stated thus: I am among the ministers of God, and I am grateful that I have the means by which to recognize that I am free. The world recedes as we light up our minds and realize these holy words are true. They are the messages sent to us today from our Creator. Now we demonstrate how they have changed our minds about ourselves and what our function is. For as we prove that we accept no will we do not share, our many gifts from our Creator will spring to our sight and leap into our hands, and we will recognize what we received. Wow, really good lesson today. A lot of stuff to think about and bring into your being to the best of your ability so that you can give it away. That makes so much sense. And it's all about just remaining in integrity. Don't try to be something that you're not. Don't try to force this information into you to make you better or fix you or, correct from some self-deprecating error that you remind yourself that's there, either with yourself or with others. We, being among the ministers of God, simply means that we're aware of at least the attempts to get us to receive the love that God is and then retransmit out to the world. I think it's that easy. Well, it's that simple to understand. Maybe it's not that easy to actually do as we continue to work through all of the things that we came into this incarnation to work through. So thanks for joining me today, everyone. Have a beautiful day out there doing lesson 154. You are among the ministers of God. We've got this, and I'll see you back here again on the next video. Take care.